Last night you went to sleep and the devil, he was trying to run havoc all in your house. The devil was trying to break into. Amen. 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 Contrary to popular belief, a simple man with a below average IQ once said, "It's funny what a young man recollects, for I don't remember being born, or what I got on my first Christmas, or when I went on my first picnic, but I do remember when I heard the sweetest voice in the whole wide world." And this simple man with an unusual name and braces on both his legs went on to declare how despite not being able to remember any of those things, he was able to remember the first time he heard the sweetest voice in the whole wide world. And he went on to say how he had never seen anything so beautiful, for she was like an angel that spoke to him on that day. Now, I've shared that monologue from one of my favorite movies with you today, because as I think about our text today, I can't help but to assume that despite what Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Jesus, may have been able to recollect about their childhoods, I can only imagine how they would never forget that sweet voice that came from an actual angel that told them Jesus had risen from the dead. And because Jesus was conceived in a virgin and crucified in virtue and resurrected in victory, then you too should be excited to run like force towards the mark of the high call. And I say that because contrary to popular belief, when Jesus got up from the grave, the braces amazingly fell off from your legs. And now you can walk and not faint. You can run and not grow weary. And you can even soar on wings like eagles. I wish I had a witness today. I'm talking about Forrest Gump right now. And just for the record, Jesus, like Jenny, was encouraging you to run according to Revelation 13:8 when he was slain before the foundation of the world. And Jesus, like Jenny, was encouraging you to run when he was first prophesied to come in Genesis 3:15. And Jesus, like Jenny, was encouraging you to run according to John 3:16 when he was born so that by faith we could live forever. And Jesus, just like Jenny, was encouraging you to run according to Isaiah 53:5 when he was wounded for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities. And it was Jesus, like Jenny, who was encouraging us to run according to 2 Timothy 3:16 when he not only spoke the word but inspired men to write the word for our correction and instruction in righteousness. And Jesus, like Jenny, was also encouraging us to run according to 1 Corinthians 15:55 when he took the sting out of death and the victory from the grave. And because Jesus, like Jenny, is still encouraging us to run not just for touchdowns and through wars, but for his glory, we should be singing like McFadden and White Hood, "Ain't no stopping us now." As a matter of fact, that sounds like a good sermon title. Touch your neighbor and say, "Neighbor, I got a feeling he gonna preach about that song." As a matter of fact, you're right, because it's Resurrection Sunday, and contrary to popular belief, because he got up, ain't no stopping us now. Did y'all hear what I said? I don't care what the devil says. I don't care what the stock market says. I don't care what your enemy says. Ain't no stopping us now. Jesus has overcome the greatest of our enemies for us. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even be tripping off the devil, because the songwriter said the devil is already defeated. So now I ought to be able to get up and walk with confidence. I ought to be able to walk on water now, because I'm talking to anybody. Ain't no stopping us now. I wish I had some dreamers in the house. Now is the time to dream, because you ought to be telling folks, eyes have not seen and ears. Ain't no stopping us. And if you believe that you are more than a conqueror, and if you believe that not even the gates of hell shall prevail against us, and if you believe that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, then high five three people and declare we on the move. You sounded too passive. I said, high five 3 people in the air. We on the move. We on the move. We are on the move. As a matter of fact, go on and tell your neighbor, take my picture, because I ain't going to be here too much longer. Go ahead and tell your neighbor, take my picture, baby. I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. A great God has called me to do great things. Take my picture. I might be there for tomorrow because he told me to go ye therefore, and I'm still trying to find therefore. I don't know how large my territory is. You might want to take my picture now. Translation, tell the enemy, trouble won't last always. I ain't gonna always be in this position. I wish I had a witness today. It is Resurrection Sunday. You may have to speak to yourself. Wake yourself up and say, self, I ain't gonna always be broke. You ought to touch yourself and say, I ain't gonna always not be able to get a 20 out to 18 years. You ought to say, self, I ain't gonna sometimes gonna be able to go to lunch with my friends and I'm gonna pay the bill sometimes. I'm not gonna always have to act like I don't see the bill on the table. I'm not gonna always have to just leave a tip. Sometimes I'm gonna be able to say, I got this. I got this. Get what you want. Get what you want. I got this. I got this. But don't get the little steak. Don't get the big steak. I got this. I got this. I got this. You gotta raise on, baby. I got favor. I'm talking to somebody. We're on the move. We're on the move. We're on the move. Don't let what's happening in the world mess with your faith. All this gonna pass away. All this gonna pass away. Don't you be tripping because the earth shaking. The earth's supposed to shake, but he's on his way back. All this gotta move out the way. Stop trying to hold on to what you gotta lose. How you gonna get a kingdom holding on to a little apartment? And I'm talking to anybody. I'm trying to bless you with a kingdom, and you trying to hold on to this little shack. God said, let it go. Because if the enemy can take it, I ain't want you to have it. I wish I had a witness today. And just in case somebody is unable to sing that song with the assurance that you are running toward the mark of the high calling and running toward the day when you'll be able to see the resurrected Savior like the original Mary did on the inaugural Resurrection Sunday. And please allow me a few moments to encourage somebody to take a second look into the tomb today. And if you really want to be able to sing Ain't No Stopping Us Now with the saints of God in this place today, then please use your spiritual eye and not your natural eye to take another look into the tomb. And I say that because the natural eye tends to produce thoughts of worldly confusion and conspiracy. But it's the spiritual eye that tends to produce thoughts of miracles and wonders. Can I say that again? When you look at things with your natural eye, you have a tendency to believe God is playing tricks on you. And it's conspiracy. Why all this is happening to me? See, with the natural eye, we go to the tomb and we say, who took Jesus? Who stole Jesus? Why they playing with me? I don't need this. I got enough going on in my life. If one more thing happen, I'm going to fall apart. That's when you're looking with your natural eye. But when you look at things with your spiritual eye, you understand that sometimes the less you see equals the more you see. And it's in a different way. See, one day in the Bible, Leon, it was some folk at a wedding. They didn't even know who was at the wedding. But it wasn't until they couldn't see wine when they got to see Jesus do a miracle. Can I say it a different way? One day the disciples were with Jesus and they didn't know how they were going to feed 5,000. They looked in their pockets and they couldn't see money. But it was on that day when they got to see Jesus work a miracle. Okay, let me talk to somebody else. See, sometimes when you can't see money in your bank, that's when you can see he's a provider. See, sometimes when you can't see food in your refrigerator, that's when you can see he's the bread of heaven. See, sometimes I'm talking to somebody now. Sometimes when you can't see nothing in your rearview mirror, that's when you know he's a protector. See, sometimes when you can't see medicine in the cabinet, that's when you know he's a healer. Am I talking